Did you miss me? I was in Hawaii last week. Oh yeah. First time I've been outside in months. It was... This week on launch, this Dell webcam is gonna make you look so good. A handy tool to blur out sensitive things on a screen share, and how to wire up a bank account to Airtable. It's launch, but for accountants. Ever been on a screen share or shooting a video when that thing comes up on screen that you don't want to be part of the recording? So the best place to start is to hop in and connect each of your bank accounts here. I'll walk you through, oh no. That is not quite what I meant. Oh. Did that actually happen? Oh, I'm so alone. Okay, well, check out this launch. It's called BlurWeb, a little Chrome extension that lets you blur out elements on a web page. So let's say it's a field that shows your password, a bank account number, an API key, the kind of stuff you don't want coming through the recording. All you gotta do with BlurWeb, simply click on that field and it's gonna blur it out. Now it'll also let you simply draw a rectangle if there's an area on the page you want to obscure. Now that's all well and dandy if you're gonna go out to the page before your screen share and obscure everything, but that probably isn't realistic. They've thought through this. So elements you blur on web pages are persistent between sessions, meaning the next time you come to the same page, if you still have the extension enabled, the element will still be blurred out. And this even works across different devices. How neat is that? Pretty cool. Check this one out over at blurweb.app. It's a one-time purchase of 24 bucks. This weekend updates you never knew you wanted and still don't. Did you hear? There's a new version of Windows coming. Ah.
It's not gonna have any of the problems my last operating system had. Trust me.
I feel like I've heard this before, PC.
What? Windows Vista's here, and it's not going to have any of the problems that Windows XP had. It's not going to have any of the problems that Windows ME had. It's not going to have any of the problems that Windows 98 had. It's not going to have any of the problems Windows 95 had. It's not going to have any of the problems Windows 2 had. Trust me. This time it's going to be different. Trust me.
Now I'm sure there's nothing to be concerned about here, and that all of our tax software vendors are right on top of this trend. Who am I kidding? Windows 11 is expected to come out of beta this holiday season, and looks like it'll actually be a free update for Windows 10 users. So we've got some time for now, but what do you need to know in the meantime? Most of the initial chatter about Windows 11 is surrounding compatibility. Microsoft had provided a PC Health Check app to tell you if your machine was compatible with Windows 11, but when it started telling a bunch of people they weren't, without so much as an explanation, Microsoft took the tool down. So there isn't a way to check compatibility today, but they've said they're working on a new version. And something about this feels
Had to buy a new graphics card, get new memory. Now I can't even use some of my software and peripherals. I mean, let's face it, this party's a bust.
We should do this again sometime.
Sure, are you free in another 5 years?
Ooh, I have an all-day meeting in 5 years. How about 5 years in a day?
I got a strategy session that day. What about 5 years and 2 days?
Okay, so benefit of the doubt, maybe it'll be totally fine. Let's take a look at the new features they're touting. First, a new start bar because that's just a thing they always do. Now you can pin your favorite apps and it'll recommend other ones based on the time of day. You'll also see your bottom icons are now in the center of the screen because that's a thing Mac OS does. Really though, these are like the first two things that Microsoft highlights, which feels like they could have just been preferences in Windows 10. They're gonna put a greater emphasis on widgets. These have taken a number of forms clear back to Vista, but are now a part of the taskbar itself. Greater control over how your windows are docked. I like this one. You get this little graphic to pick how you want your windows to be laid out. This is gonna be especially helpful for people using ultra-wide displays. They're gonna start absolutely cramming Microsoft Teams down our throats. It's gonna be baked right into Windows now, and you seemingly don't have a way to opt out of it. They're building it in like iMessages, making it easy to chat with anyone or hop on a video conference. It's a little odd because I think of Teams as a business app. Its name is literally Teams, but I understand the motivation behind it. Not sure right now that I'm a fan of that one though. You can run Android apps on Windows now. Cool. Lastly is probably my favorite, a better way to manage virtual desktops. Here's a frame grab from their little presentation. You'll see at the bottom here, you've got several workspaces you can switch between. Here they've got listed work, design, chill, gaming, and the ability to create a new desktop. I like this to manage context switching from a single device because I don't really want to have different devices for each of those things. So Windows 11, what do you think? Drop a comment below on whether you're excited for this. Are you scared? Are you confused? I think I'm a little bit of all of the above. Fresh launch here that's going to give you a banking connection for your Airtable bases. What? It's called FinTable, and it uses Plaid, Finicity, and TrueLayer to create a banking connection, then pull your live transaction and balance data into Airtable each day. Ask me the question. Come on. Why do I want my banking transaction data in Airtable? Glad you asked. The upside isn't necessarily that the data is in Airtable or that there's a bunch of useful crunching you do inside of Airtable. It's that Airtable is a database with killer API connections. So while you could do cool stuff inside of Airtable, maybe it can be like a super basic ledger, you could do some categorization there. I think the greater opportunity here is if your transactions and balance data is inside of Airtable, it's the equivalent of having an awesome banking API, which doesn't exist at the moment. You could use Zapier, for example, to pull your current bank balance for the last 10 transactions, every purchase from a specific place. A couple weeks back, we talked about Zapier's Chrome extension. How about getting a bank balance at the click of a button on Zapier's Chrome extension? Now at the moment, Qubio and Xero's APIs don't actually give you access to their banking data, only stuff that's been posted to the ledger. They've got the data, but they won't let you use it. With FinTable, you wire your bank up to Airtable, and all that data is available at your fingertips. That's pretty great. Anything that makes our banking data more accessible is a win. This one's gonna set you back $7 a month for the first 500,000 in annual transactions. Check it out over at fintable.io. 12 months ago, a lot of people were learning to use Zoom for the first time, giving each other a lot of grace. And there were some
I'm prepared to go forward with it. That's
struggles along the way. But Zoom meetings are here to stay. And looking pro on camera, let's just say you don't want to be that guy that can't.
Hi, I'm Dave, and my bleep don't stink.
Well, for a boy whose bleep don't stink, Dave turned out to be a very well-adjusted adult.
Good kid. Bleep don't stink.
Dell just dropped a 4K camera to help ensure your bleep don't stink. It's $200 and has a very Dell name. It's the Dell UltraSharp webcam. It's not the first 4K webcam out there, and really, does your Zoom video need to be in 4K? Almost certainly not. But having an abundance of pixels enables some pretty cool functionality. This webcam has two party tricks. First, the ability to adjust your field of view with the click of a button, anywhere from 65 degrees to 90 degrees. This is achieved by basically cropping your video. It makes it easier to control what's in frame. Second, AI auto framing.
No matter how the shot is framed, you always know how to take control. To command attention in every room you enter.
Did you see that?
To command attention in every room you enter.
Okay, but did you see that?
To command.
How sick is that? Now, do I believe it actually looks this good in the wild? Nope. Some early demos from people who have gotten their hands on the camera look a little more mechanical, sort of herky-jerky, but the premise is super cool, and through software, this stuff could get way better. For example, you may have seen in some of my videos, I use a little Python script for screen sharing that dynamically zooms and pans to my cursor, and a smooth face tracking application of something like this is totally possible. Basically, they're taking a larger 4K frame video and outputting 1080p video by panning across that 4K capture. And a smooth application of this would honestly be super cool. So that is the new Dell UltraSharp webcam.
My friend, her son's a lawyer, but my son, his bleep don't stink, so.
That's better than being a lawyer.
Check that one out over at Dell.com. My go-to simple website builder just launched version 2 of their platform. It's called Super and turns your Notion pages into fully functioning websites. It's what I use for our free community tools and for the Tax Twitter software directory. If you've used Notion before, you know it's the easiest way to author nice looking pages. And with vanilla Notion, you can make those pages public, but they live at a Notion URL, kind of like making a Google Doc public. It's gonna have a big, long, ugly URL, right? What Super allows is hosting Notion pages on your own custom domain. So anyone can navigate out to your web address. What they see is actually a Notion page. What is the benefit of this? Well, when it comes to updating your website, I'll just show you. This is the community tools website in my Notion. I'm gonna add some text, wowee, and it appears on the live site at tools.rlz.io. That's it. It means the ease and flexibility of Notion can be extended to live websites. So I can pull up Notion on my phone, quickly and easily make updates, spin up new pages in like 60 seconds. Pretty cool. So what's new in version 2 of Super? Well, now you're gonna get an optional test site to stage your changes, per page custom code if you want, password protected pages, better mobile support, and a few other goodies. To check out all the updates, head over to super.so. Automation tools today are great at pumping data through at lightning speed, but one thing we've touched on is how if that data needs human review, or if bad data gets into that system, buckle up. Previously on Launch. If you got 1,000 items you want to process all at once, and you set that Zap up and hit go,
Initiate drop sequence. On my mark.
let's just say I hope you set up that Zap right. Reflective is a new automation platform looking to combine the best aspects of automation with good old human intelligence. It's what the tech bros call human-in-the-loop automation. Now, oftentimes we fall back to making an entire workflow manual because there may be one aspect of it that needs to be done by a human. With Reflective, you can automate what you can and leave the rest for the warm, squishy human in the loop. Basically how it works, you build out an intake form with Reflective or pipe in a new entry to Reflective via Zapier. Then inside of Reflective, you decide which steps need to be overseen by a human and which actions can be taken automatically. So the Reflective platform is going to be where your humans oversee aspects of the process, but otherwise it'll wire up to Zapier and all your other automation tools. So you're seemingly combining the best of both worlds. Humans when you need them, and machines when you don't. This one is brand spanking new, and as a result is free for a limited time. Learn more about this one over at reflective.co. That is it for Launch this week. Thanks for tuning in. Be sure to hit that like button. It's what's gonna make the YouTube overlords put our video in front of more people. But more importantly, it's what helps me keep my youthful complexion.
Expected on these calls.